everybody's from somewhere. I think I probably have as much beef with my hometown as anybody does with their hometown. You know, it's where you grow up. That's where good stuff happens. Some of the best moments of your life happen, and probably maybe some of the worst. Um, I don't know. Going back to the place I grew up and seeing and feeling the environment that created me and made me who I am, for better or worse, and being able to take my skills and impart them on that environment and use my parkour and my free running to shape that experience into what I want it to be was a very powerful thing.
Okay, so we went through Taos and we did parkour at some of Payton's childhood spots. It was a really interesting experience from a perspective, from my perspective, because I've never been there before. I think it was a really interesting mental challenge for Payton. I'm really glad we got to go there. I don't think I'm ever gonna train the same way again. I think the way that we trained in Taos was very unique because we just found like some planks of woods, literally a ditch with sharp gravel in it, and like a pole, and we had the most amazing training session. And those kind of training sessions don't happen, and a lot of athletes don't get to experience those. And so I'm really lucky I got to. We went there to film a documentary, which I'm in, and to film Payton overcoming his emotional and mental barriers through parkour. I don't know, I just like the overall theme of the documentary. Don't let your environment shape you. Use your environment in a way that you're going to shape how it will become.
That's awesome.
I'm on the brink. Turn the TV up so that I can fall asleep and drown out all of my thoughts, the ones in which you love to haunt me. Stoned, feet on the cement, cursing at myself all the way to your apartment, pressing right into the door. Oh, I can hear that you're not alone. No. Do you think fate is just a lie? We tell ourselves to help us fall asleep at night. I'm waking up sideways, laying in the driveway, trying to forget the thought of you. I'm drowning my sorrow, even though it's hollow, taking tequila shots of me. That's why I followed you home, even though it's insane. Watch you silence your phone whenever it shows my name.
Alright. Johanna lost the odds. Now she has to bite. She has to chomp this ginger root. You ready?
Yeah.
Alright. It's on you.
Oh my god! It won't get out!
Are you okay?
How's that ginger?
It's so gross!
She took to the bed. She had to take to the bed. After the ginger.
How you doing?
That would be a good time to kill me.
What?
That would be a good time to kill me.
Ew.
My relationship with Payton, well, he's my parkour coach. He teaches me my dynamic movements. And he's one of my best friends.
What is my relationship with Payton? I am his unofficial aunt and he is my unofficial nephew. I have known Payton since he was probably, I would say maybe 7. He was a little guy. I could pick him up, put him on my lap, so it's been quite a while. And I met Payton through his mom and through his cousin. and we've from early on we've been like extended family. So I've been blessed to be able to know Payton in a different context than a lot of young people I interact with in town.
Dashingly handsome vagabond who has no money and travels the world.
Is this what your interview is about? Is about sugarcoating yourself? I'm this pro athlete with all these qualifications.
My sight. Yes. Okay. I am legally blind. I was born completely blind. When I was about 8 months old, my vision just kind of clicked in, and my parents rushed me to the doctor, and the doctor said he could see, but his vision is poor, and they told my parents I would never be able to see a soccer ball. From that day I was considered legally blind, which just means that my vision can't be corrected beyond a certain point and is really, really bad. My vision can't be corrected at all, so glasses, contacts, laser surgery, none of that's going to work. So it's non-correctable. I have to deal with it until new technology comes out to where they can fix me, or until I die. I also have albinism. I'm an albino, which is awesome. It means I'm like I think of myself like a shiny Pokemon. That's the question is, wow, how can you do parkour with vision like yours? And the truth is that parkour is such a powerful tool for overcoming any limitations in your life, physical, mental, emotional, that having bad vision has never really been a problem for me. Of course, it's been an obstacle that I have to overcome in my own way and find out ways around it and through it and to deal with it and, to live with it and try and do parkour in a different way than most other people ever will have to. But it's never stopped me, because it's just one of those obstacles in life that you have to either let defeat you or keep going. So I'm a legally blind parkour athlete.
Вроде поправила, якобы живу по правилам. Наши лица на экране, треки по радио. Знаешь меня, все так радует, правда. Главное помнить, брат, ходим по краю. Вроде поправила, якобы живу по правилам. Наши лица на экране, треки по радио. Знаешь меня, все так радует, правда. Главное помнить, брат, ходим по краю.
Казалось бы, всего хватало. Учил язык в Китае, жил там, получал образование. Продавал гарик в общаге и не собирался сваливать. Но меня отправили, ну и до свидания. Далее стояли у метро с кальяном, траву впаривали неформалом. Пили Баварию, считали трамваи. И пусть еще не читали, а шлялись на кузне вечерами. Было нормально. Далее дурное влияние плохой компании. Поменял сознание, хотя предупреждали заранее. Печально знаю, но с кем не бывает. И мы продолжали. Далее.
Well, as a career, I mean, geez, when we were in high school, so many ideas were floating around, especially in our junior and senior year, where everybody was like joking about moving to Ireland and living in a big house together. And, oh God, how ridiculous that sounded. And then your band that you wanted to formed, and how you're gonna make it big, and then your aspirations for like, I don't know, acting or all the stuff to do with the arts. But I never thought that parkour would ever come into the picture, just because it's such an unpopular sport.
Parkour, I do have limited knowledge of parkour.
Parkour is adventure walking. You know it as free running, but I wouldn't use that language because parkour in my mind, from what I've seen pop culture wise and YouTube videos, is high intensity point A to point B. It's almost like the bridge between movie stuntman action figures and people who are just using the world as their gymnasium, I guess.
So parkour is a way of using your body to overcome obstacles mentally, physically. So we'll do jumps, we'll do rolls, vaults, all the basic things that you'll see on YouTube. We use it as a way to overcome our mental barriers and mental challenges in a way that is constructive and benefits our bodies. So when we're about to do something that's like really scary, like a jump or a flip, and we commit to doing that, we are breaking a mental barrier in our mind, and that way we are living the fullest life we can and developing mentally, developing physically, and just being able to do something that's fun, that can be done safe in a way that is unique and dynamic.
Parkour has so many definitions and means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, so it's really hard to say what parkour is. Probably the best definition I could give is that parkour is the art of using your body to overcome obstacles in the most efficient way possible. So when you see people practicing parkour physically, they do a lot of running, jumping, climbing, vaulting, right? These motions that get you from one place to another as quickly as you can go. Nowadays, parkour can encompass free running and tricking and breakdancing and gymnastics and all these different things, and people still just say parkour. More than that, parkour isn't just about getting from here to there as fast as possible. Parkour is about efficiently overcoming obstacles, and those obstacles can be physical, or they can be mental or emotional or psychological. I guess that's mental. But you don't have to be able to see obstacles to overcome them, or to know that they're there, or to have to deal with them. Parkour is being able to go from A to B efficiently, but it's also being able to do anything and use progression to achieve any goal. Because when you can use a system of progression to tackle anything mentally and physically, if you can see an obstacle or something that stands in your way and you can break it down into component pieces and you can tackle each component piece, then you can do anything. And that is amazing to me, that no matter what it is, if it's a project or a move or something that you need to face in your life, if you can break it down and understand how to manage and conquer each individual piece, then you have the power to do anything. And that is the power of parkour. That is why parkour is so absolutely incredible, is because you can do anything with it. And if you practice parkour, and if you practice that method physically, mentally, and emotional, then you are unstoppable. And there's nothing that's going to be able to get in your way that you can't tackle. That's what I'm grateful for. That's what I'm grateful for. So I come from Taos, New Mexico. Taos is a small town, not a lot of people. It's super rural. Taos is a very rural northern New Mexican town. It's small and it's historic and it's built over a lot of years, hundreds of years. And it's not a great town for free running. Because it's so small and so rural and just has little parks and things and has like that Latvian feel, like they're the like Latvian guys like Stas and Pasha and Slava and Oleg, like you see their home spots and they're like these crappy little like just bars and ditches and things you would never look at and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a great training session at that. And I that's all of Taos, and I love it. I love that vibe and I love that feeling, and I love the feeling of going somewhere where there's just a couple features and having an amazing session. That's how I like to train, and that is all of Taos.
Welcome to Taos Ski Valley.
что ты узнал, я уже давно забыл. Тем, кем ты хотел стать, я давно уже был. Я по небу ходил, я трогал солнце руками, я оставался в живых. Когда все умирали, я время выдумал. Я был творцом снов, я превращал мечты в реальность милостью богов. Я был свободным рабом, я был рабом у свободы. Я был великим царем, мне поклонялись народы. Хотел быть богом, но к чему мне напрягаться? Если падал, то с небес дождем срывался. Я разбивался на тысячи мелких частиц. Я собирался по частицам стаи птиц. Много знакомых лиц, много красивых слов. Среди моих друзей немерено врагов, немерено богов. Среди простых пацанов, вот музыка без нот, стихи.
You hit the ground hard.
I did.
Раз и навсегда, здесь только мои мысли, здесь только ты и я. Раз и навсегда, здесь только твои мысли, в них больше нет меня. Раз и навсегда, здесь только мои мысли, здесь только ты и я. Раз и навсегда, здесь только твои мысли, в них больше нет меня. А именно я изобрел.
Oh, hi. Welcome back to the Payton Hanna show, where we discuss our everyday lives.
God damn it.
Bring in the cookies. After having lived in Ohio, I've learned how amazing Taos is as a place. And always coming back is a real treat because you're able to be surrounded by a very friendly community and you're surrounded by outdoors. But of course, it's so important to be able to get out of the state as well as town. My parents decided to move here. You know, they had moved from apartheid-led South Africa to living in London, to living in Chile, to living in New Jersey, and then taking a one-year road trip around through almost every one of the states, to Mexico, to Canada. Somehow we all round up in Taos. I mean, you know, I guess it says a lot about this place. And I guess how special it is to everybody who has lived here.
You know, Taos is I can't imagine a more beautiful, more amazing place to live. The community, the sense of community, the freedom to be who you are. But at the same time, from the lens of looking at youth, it's also one of the most, if not the most challenging place I've ever worked with young people. You would not think so. So many tourists come here, and it's this tourist and art mecca. But it's hard to be a young person in this community. It's really a challenge, and I see a lot of that challenge, unfortunately, every day. I get to know it personally.
Yeah, Taos is different. Taos is it's an amazing town because there's so many discrepancies within how you can name it. So I could say that it's a really traditional town and say that it's a place of roots, it's a place of sanctity, and then the exact opposite is true too. It's a place of the profane, it's a place of transition, of moving in and out of it. There is a lot of rootlessness here. So you've got these like dichotomies and these paradoxes about Taos, which I find to be very fascinating. Trying to live in a place of paradox is a challenge, and to carve your own place in such a fascinating corner of our country is fun.
Rental house.
No, de Cortez.
Cortez. SDS Part 1, SDS Part 2,
Oh, yeah, you went
SDS
back.
Part 3, Roy Road, Ranchos, the one we're in now, back to SDS Part 2, up on the hill in Talpa,
Mansion on the
Breeze Way, so
Yeah.
11, and then I moved out of Dad's house, I count that as one, and then college, and then, maybe I do count now, and then apartment.
Yeah.
So that's 14 times in the last 11 years that I've moved house.
Oh my gosh.
14 times.
That's more than a move a year sometimes.
Yup. So,
There were 3 years you moved twice.
yup. 3 years I moved twice. So So that's why
That's
I say.
quite unsettling.
Yeah, that's why I say.
I'm sorry for that.
I have a hometown, but I don't have a home.
Yeah. So home is really where your backpack and your heart is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're so comfortable traveling, because you're flexible and you make your home wherever you go.
I think so. I think that has something to do with it. Because I like being self-sustaining in that way. Like, everything I need is in my backpack. And wherever I go, I can kind of like set up camp, which is cool. That's why I think I also like camping a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin Schaefer for making a place that feels like home, even though I don't know what that feels like.
The cultural shock was astounding to me. It was so unique and so culturally based that you could tell those people have just been there forever. You know, they're really based in their culture, and I think that's super interesting. You're not going to find a lot of people like that in the big cities. To be able to experience that as an outsider was really cool. I don't think I could live in Taos. I think it was a really cool place to be for a week. It's really, really small, and there's a lot of emotional grief that you can just sense going into the city. But to be able to experience that for just a blink of my life was really, really cool.
So I've been a high school teacher for 10 full school years now, and so I've seen a lot of graduates. I've seen a lot of people drop out. I've seen a lot of people disappear in the many meanings of the word, unfortunately. Taos is a hard place to grow up, and where I grew up, it was sort of expected, both by the individual growing up and the family, that you were likely going to go to college, and the people who didn't go to college were outliers. Whereas in Taos, it is a surprise almost if you go to college. You are sort of the smaller percentage of the population of graduates in Taos. And that illustrates some of the challenges that we have trying to mold our youth in this town. We live in a place that operates sort of like a bubble.
You know, we're boxed in by our mountains. It's one of the reasons I started Travel Club. I was with a circle of young people, and I said, you know, it's your birthday, I have a magic wand, we can go anywhere in the world, do anything you want to celebrate your birthday. What do you want? And there was absolute silence. Finally, one kid grabbed it and he said, I'm going to Espanola to eat at Chili's, because a new Chili's restaurant had opened up about 40 miles down the road. And that, I realized in the moment, was as big as he could dream. There's no concept of a world beyond our community, and there's not a whole lot that our community offers in terms of career prospects, unless you're like Payton and you create your own prospect. For such an enlightened community, there's a good bit of drugs, there's gangs, but there's a deep level of complacency. It's not a community of educational importance. We have a high rate of teens on drugs and a high rate of teen suicide.
You're really asked to interact with people in a different way in this town because it's such a small place. And the pitfalls of rural, New Mexico especially, but rural American life of drug dependency, alcohol abuse, families breaking up and growing up in broken homes, that is something that every student has to deal with on some level in Taos County. And so a lot of them don't come out of that on the other side looking like they're in good shape. Too many end up in bad places. So the fact that Payton was able to grow up in that world, being the whitest person that anybody has ever seen in this town, is really amazing, because the people as talented, as motivated at one point in their lives, might still feel like they're stuck here, or might still feel like there's not a way out for them. And so Payton finding free running might be a miracle.
That's me as a wee babe. And that's me as an 8th grader. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, this is when you dated Sarah?
No. No.
Had you already cut
her
your
name
hair
was
when
Sally.
you dated Sally?
No.
You look like this?
Yes.
I wonder if I should work with you. And this is what you looked like when you wrote your love letter?
You're such a bully.
I just imagine more of a normal looking Payton writing it. See, you do look like one of those 90s punk female artists.
Yeah?
Yeah. How old was your sister in this?
If I was, 13? She was 11? Maybe that was 7th grade.
Yeah, you look really large.
You look really large.
No, it's not a bad thing. You're just big boned in this, and now you're not. Adult Payton was always adult Payton. You were never a baby. This was just made
Yeah, that's not
to
real.
look like you.
What did you say about the sports balls?
Oh yeah, why did they give them to you? You can't see that.
I've heard everything that people have to say. I think a lot of parkour athletes hear all the things that people have to say. Don't do that. That's dangerous. You'll hurt yourself. Get down from there. You crazy kids, right? Of course, I've heard all of that. We all have. But I've also heard all of the stuff that comes with being, having a disability. You can't do that. What are you doing? You're blind. You're going to hurt yourself. Even the people that go, how can you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that with that? Especially when I was starting out and I would just go outside every day at school and just crash flips over and over and over and land on my ass all the time for 2 hours. I would cut class and just go and land on my butt for hours on end, doing vaults and training and throwing front flips and just building lines and that's what I would do. If I wasn't playing music, I was throwing myself around learning how to do parkour. Not in a bad way. Like I probably completed much more movement than I didn't complete. And of course, all my friends were, what are you going to do with that? Why would you even need to learn how to flip? Dylan, I'm looking at Dylan because Dylan was the worst. You were among the first to laugh at me when I was doing flips.
Yeah, well, I mean for good reason. Like, what was the point? I was like, when I was there standing with my backpack, I was like, geez. Payton is really going nowhere. Who would ever hire this dude? He just does flips off of a bench. Or jumps off over a sidewalk. But it's like, I guess it was just, a little bit of ignorance. Of course, but it's like, when somebody finds themselves outside of the main path of the pack, for instance. Somebody just does something different from everybody else. Everybody, scrutinizes the person because, they're not doing what you're doing. They're not following what you're doing because that's what you've been told is right. And, we need more of those people. I think, you are, a good example of one of those kinds of people, who has received the criticism and has turned it into success in some regard.
Do I think it's been easy for him? No. I saw a lot of the challenges Payton had to face through his life. He was able to stand outside and look at some of the situations life dealt him and realize that, hey, this is not all about me. So Payton has had a way, and his challenges have been legitimate, and he's had a way to really, I don't want to say like, oh no, another learning experience, but really, but Payton has a way of looking at things going, okay, so, I can curl up in a ball, or I can figure out the best way to deal with this, and I can also support the people around me that are dealing with this or that. Life gave me physical challenges. I can curl up in a ball, or I can find a way around it. And that's the Payton I've known. It's like, oh, wait, I'm not physically suited for that? Okay, but I'll find a way to do it anyway. Oh, I don't have what it takes to be that? That's not good enough for me. I don't accept that. I will either find a way to have what it takes for that, or I'll find a way to alter that so that I can do it. He doesn't accept. I don't know that he's ever said I can't, other than saying I can't not be me. I've never seen him give up on anything.
Do you want to tell the camera where we are?
We are at the Gorge Bridge in Taos, New Mexico. Site of many beautiful things and many not so beautiful things. I don't know. It's the bridge that connects the township to the not township, the Badlands, I guess. A lot of stuff happens here. There's a lot of for people that come from out of town. It's a site that represents a lot of natural beauty and the spirit of New Mexico in a way. For the Taos locals, it represents a lot of pain and the suffering of our young people. There's a lot of sadness and depression that is associated with this bridge.
Yeah, I think that the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge is another illustration of the paradox that we experience in this community. It's the type of thing that people all across the world know from movies like Natural Born Killers or the latest Terminator movie, because it's this iconic bridge that movies have been shot on, and then tourists come from all over the Southwest, perhaps all over the country, and maybe all over the world to see the Rio Grande from such a perspective. But in our community, we know it as a very reliable conduit for moving across the community, from the mesa to town and back and forth. It's a crucial thoroughfare for our lifestyle, but it also attracts people who aren't doing well to wonder if they should jump off of it, to be blunt. And that's a scary thought.
We have our big gorge bridge, and we've had a lot of people jump from that bridge, but recently a lot of teenagers. 2 summers ago, we had 2 teenagers within a week of each other. Both kids I knew. One jumped off the bridge and the other committed suicide in a different way. And those kids are still constantly, and we should. I'm not saying we shouldn't remember them. Obviously, I remember them in my heart and adored both of them and knew one of the families very well, and we should remember them. But those kids and other kids who have committed suicide have become glorified. And there's that mimicry of, it's become an easy way out.
I don't know, going into the place, especially when we went to the Gorge Bridge, you could feel it just in your gut. You could feel that there's been a lot of pain in this place, and a lot of harm that had been done there. And whether that was emotional harm or physical harm, I don't know, but just the feeling of the place was a very, very sad place to be.
Growing up there was really hard, and I didn't think it when I was doing it, but looking back on it and watching my little sister grow up just 2 years behind me, I realized that it was really, really hard, and we had to deal with a lot of things that a lot of people don't have to deal with. I think it's a rural town. My sister and I, we saw it all. We saw, we were there, and we're both survivors of abuse, and we both suffer from depression. We've seen narcotic abuse, drug abuse in our household. We grew up in a broken family. We moved all the time. You know, we never really had a home, like a home, a place to always go and say, you know, if we go back to Taos and say, yes, that was my home. We have like 14 places that we can say, yeah, I lived there, but, you know, we didn't have a place to be home. And we, you know, just growing up, you grow up around violence and it's just so much drug abuse and sexual violence and anything, you know. I'm a survivor of abuse. We had a lot of things on our plate. And I guess at some point in my life, all of that just manifested. I brought the knife that I had used at, you know, my lowest point to hurt my body. You know, this body that I love so much and that I use every day, and you know, I brought it with me to Taos, and we made kind of a ceremony of pitching it over the edge of the Gorge Bridge. You know, I felt it was time in my life that I take those things and accept that they're part of me and let go of the stuff that I don't need and use the rest to make me stronger. And that's what Taos was. That's what this is. That's what this is all about. It was time to let go of that. And going to the Gorge Bridge was how I wanted to do it.
Another morning I wake up without exception, though I guess now it's closer to the afternoon. And I am not the first one up as is tradition, but the last to go to sleep along with you. And I breathe in the scent of coffee from the kitchen. I hear the laughter spilling from the other room. And so I drag my body up and join the living. Reception almost right on cue. And I never would have thought it could ever be this good. And I know each moment's fleeting, but right now I feel like I'm right where I should be. I am not a perfect man, I fuck up often. At least I never have to wonder why I came. If you're honest with yourself, I bet it's painful. And you and I are far less different than they say. So burning to feel So burning to feel Another night, the sun goes down without exception. I hear the matches playing from the other room. It's been a day since I have glanced at my reflection. No words of judgment coming from our crew. We start a fire just as the stars arrive, and I am lost within the flames until a touch from you brings me back to what feels like the perfect day. So why is it she feels? Some people never feel alive. Don't they know each moment's fleeting? I can't help but feeling I'm right where I
parkour and teaching myself parkour had made me feel strong enough to where I could go and look at all that stuff and face it down. And take that trip and take that journey and take that step to healing and being able to let go of those things that have shackled me for so long and have shaped me at the same time shaped me into who I am, but also held me back from who I want to be and kept me from getting to my point B, like the point B that I want to be at, my end goal. Like, you know, point A is who I am now, and point B is that guy that I want to be in the future, that inspires people and lights the way for people to be what they want and do what they want and live their own dreams and follow their own hearts. And that you know, that's what this film is about. That's what I wanted this film to be about, is the ability that you have the ability, even the hardest things in life, that will come at you, and just some of the nastiest shit is going to happen to you and happen to the people around you. I think it's probably guaranteed that, like, everyone's will suffer at some point. But you can fucking beat it, man. Like, if you, I don't even know, like, if you just keep your head down and keep moving forward and believe that you can, and you have the tools and you have something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is going to hit you.